Hello, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Submitted for Your Approval, the weekly card review show for Collective, the community-created card game. We are back weeks after the apocalypse. Our show is back on, and I am so excited. I am joined today by my faithful co-host, Grief.
Howdy, folks.
He keeps on upgrading his studio even without us. He never lost faith. I totally gave up. I became feral and was wandering in the wilderness for a couple days. And my other co-host, Empty.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. And of course, you guys know why we are making this episode, why we are starting back up. I would like to introduce to you all the new manager for Collective, the investor that is helping keep this game afloat. Want to say hi to everyone?
Hi.
It's Mystic.
You don't know me.
By the way, Mystic, do we now call you Mystic Manager or Mystic Knight or something like
that? You can just keep calling me Mystic.
So
Okay.
we wanted to get started with a couple questions, and then we will go back to our regularly scheduled stuff. We have a limited selection of picks because we wanted to spend a lot of time on the interview. So Mystic, tell us the story about how you came to invest in Collective.
So basically, me and a group of my friends were looking at investment opportunities, and we heard that Collective was going to get shut down, and I'm like, I can't let this happen. So I got with my friends and we discussed this, and we're like, this is a good investment opportunity. There's some good stuff here. And so we decided to make this our investment opportunity. And I just want to clarify that my team, my friends, or whatever you want to call them, I'll probably be calling them my team. My team is basically they're just investing with me. They're basically just investors. I'm the one running the show. Not a bunch of random people who don't really know that much about Collective. They're not going to be making like massive changes or anything.
Okay, and that's good to hear. So one of the big things is you are setting up a Patreon, and I guess we're going to take a quick look at that. We have 3 tiers here: Collective Bronze, access to the Patreon exclusive Discord channel, and an early sneak peek at announcements. At Collective Silver, which is $10 a month, you get all of that, and voting access for future design competitions, as well as an exclusive monthly card back. Or it is an exclusive back, right?
Yeah, it'll probably come out and shop like a few months later, but
yeah, that's good. I really like the Collectives adopting that model of having it show up just later.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna work.
The in addition to that, the Collective Gold is going to get an 11th patron exclusive card slot. So they'll be lobbying basically one of there's an 11th card slot that's guaranteed to go to a patron.
Yeah, so basically how it's going to work is it's going to work a little bit similar to a design competition, except in this case, it's if they have 2/3 of the vote of the 10th card, they can get their card in. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it basically works the same. They can get their cards in regularly. It's just it's just there to have a
full document would probably follow that explains that in detail.
And a monthly Marvel allowance. So yeah, that looks great. That looks beautiful. One of the things we were wondering about is with Plas leaving Collective, how will things like bug fixes and weekly cards be handled? Will hero balance checks come back? And if so, what's going to happen with those?
So at first, I'm going to look within the community to fill the role of Plas. If anyone's interested, please go and DM me on Discord. Let me know, hey, I want to do Plas's job. Other than that, if I can't find anyone who's willing to do it, I'm going to start looking at my team, and I'm going to start looking outside and see if I can recruit someone. I just want to clarify, I'm not paying. We don't have the
it's a volunteer position.
Yeah, it's a volunteer position.
Yeah. And anything on the rarity limit or text crunch?
In in that case, yes, we'll be bringing back. We'll be adding 2 rares as Nick originally said he was gonna do.
Okay.
But for now, we're not changing anything else. Just
Regarding
2
text
rares
crunch. Okay.
per week.
Text crunch is here to stay, but the rarity limit's going to be boosted to something a lot more reasonable, I think. And okay.
Something else I wanted to say is that you asked about hero balance changes.
Mhm.
So we're bringing those back, but seeing as I'm not planning on. So basically, I'm not gonna be making, or I'm going to try and not make it so I'm the only one making changes and everything like that. So I'm actually going to be putting together a quote unquote collective staff team. And so basically, they're going to discuss balance with me on the game and help me decide what features to prioritize. They're also going to be doing things because I've seen a lot of discussions about, is this update, mainly the Essence Shifter updates at the moment, does this update count as a rework? And so they're going to be helping me decide things like that. So it's just not one person deciding the entire future of Collective.
Oh, so the classic things that came to like an honor system thing about like you can't what is it? You can't do a new penumbra. Well, what does that necessarily mean? We'll now actually have a council who can answer these kind of questions, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And again, for that, if anyone's interested, please let me know. I'll be collecting DMs on Discord and I'll look through them and probably announce in maybe a week or 2.
Am I still community
about part of
ambassador?
the team.
This is just a stranger question.
Undecided.
Undecided. The mod team will be abolished. We will put in a dictatorship.
No more moderators.
I can probably. That'll probably just be, that position will probably just become part of the quote unquote collective staff team. And if you want to remain community ambassador, that's probably what your position will be rotated to.
You're just a token ruler.
Okay.
So on the topic of like hero balance changes, what's the plan for new heroes? Will there be any opportunity for the community to like help create new heroes? And then also, will there be other content the community will be able to create, like the custom-made Sentinels campaigns? You know, those will be making their way to Collective.
So with the content, with new heroes, I am not currently planning on making any new heroes. The current issues that heroes are quite extensive and they add a lot of complexity to the game. And this may be something that we'll discuss in the future, but stuff like this I'll be discussing with the staff team that I said I was going to make. And that'll be something I'll be coming up with them. And other community made heroes and such, there's no plans currently to allow anything like that. Seeing as custom Sentinels was almost done with Nick, that may be coming in the future, but I can't make any guarantees at the moment. And again, this will all be discussed with the collective staff team.
Okay. So we're gonna get new heroes eventually. It's just we don't have any immediate stuff in the works.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Grief, you have anything?
Yeah, and sorry mistake, but I will come in harsh. So the first question is, what will happen technically with the season pass, considering that we now get a Patreon and there's a monetization effort to actually finance Collective. How do we go forward with A, the season pass, B, the marble pass, and how do we actually, or will there be a plan to fit the in-game economy to a point that, yeah, it actually makes sense throughout the entire experience? Because we have a problem that the new players have a somewhat generic system, then there is a starving period, and at the end, if you basically have everything that you really need or bought the pendant pass, well, currency is basically worth shit. So is there any plans going forward?
For the season pass, you gotta tell me which question you want to answer me first. I can't.
Let's start with the season pass.
Okay, so the season pass, I do have plans for season pass number 3. That'll probably, I have it planned to come at the end of the month. However, it's in the works. It's just getting started. It might take another month or two, but the planned date currently is at the end of this month. We will start season 3.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, the other monetization stuff, I guess.
Is there also a plan to connect it to the season pass regarding the in-game art and how that will be monetized, or if there is a plan regarding art separately?
So with a lot of art, such as hero portraits, which I'm assuming is your main concern here.
Just the
with
uploader.
The uploader is
the
connected to the season
uploader,
pass.
okay.
Besides the hero art.
So I'll get on hero art, but you're right. The uploader, again, I'm leaving that as is for now. Maybe it'll get changed, but I'm going to discuss it with the staff team once I actually make one. And yeah. As for hero art, in the season pass, there's going to be hero art in such things like that.
Okay. So we're gonna go back to like the new skins initiative type thing.
Yes, I'm going to be making new skins. And basically how it's going to work is there's going to be new skins in the season pass. You can get there first. And then for a time after the season pass, you'll only be able to buy the skins with marbles and such. But eventually, after that time period, it'll be able to be purchased with in-game currency, just normally like any other skin.
Are we going to revisit the possibility of like community made skins maybe, or?
Yes, so the community made skins, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually planning on hiring artists in the community to make skins. And if you're an artist and you're interested in it, let me know. Tell me your commission price or whatever. I've already been discussing with one artist so far. I'll leave their name out of this for now. But I've already been discussing with one artist about commission price and such, and I'm planning on getting some hero skins from them, and that'll probably be for the season 3 battle pass.
Low-key message to everyone who won a tournament in the last month. Yes, it seems like you're finally getting your Jester Victrix skin.
Yep.
Okay. Back on the topic of in-game economy. Will that be ever revisited?
Yes.
Nice.
I plan on mainly the gold and marbles. Right now, Amber, it's in a good enough position where it's a self-sustaining. People can make enough new decks that they're able, or at least I was able to create enough new decks that I was able to keep myself entertained by playing through the battle pass, getting Amber that way. As for the gold and marbles, it just seems like that people have absurd amount of gold, and there's not really anything other than the battle pass to spend marbles on. So
Yeah.
I do plan.
Okay.
I do plan on making more options for gold and marbles, maybe reworking some of the cost a bit.
And will we also, since we have this new, once we get the collective staff team together, I got 3 good names you might want to consider adding to the thing. Is there possibly going to be a revisit of, I know there's been the big trend among the community and it's gotten worse since I kind of jumped off of the player created keywords, seeing like official support for those kind of things. Do you think that might be coming soon, or?
Official support for keywords, I can't currently give a very good
timeline on
answer
it.
for that. There's a lot of cost involved in
Yeah.
getting developers involved. Currently, our only developer is still just Alec,
Mhm.
but seeing as they're busy with their job,
Yeah.
we can't really have them doing too much and such. And so really we're going to need to figure out when can we get a developer, what things are they actually going to be able to do.
Mhm.
So I'll know more once we actually get a developer who can work full time.
Okay.
That was basically leading up to my next question. Are you planning to actually expand on the working staff, quote unquote paid staff, considering that the technical back end is, let's face it, kind of horrendous, and stuff is never really getting done on time or sometimes ever. So that's being worked on, it seems like.
Yeah, some of the main priorities, or at least for me, some of the most annoying things I found were like the choose window bug. I don't know how many of you know about this, but the Monte, when
Yes.
she had multiple targets, couldn't choose the same one.
Soft lock the game.
Yeah,
It's a pretty embarrassing bug.
Yeah, that bug is definitely higher in the priority list for me.
By the way, that bug actually existed since the first command spell, because that was one of the reasons why the first iteration of arcane scriptures didn't work.
Oh boy, well, yeah, hopefully it's not too extensive, but considering it's never been fixed,
yeah,
I'm kind of scared to see how much it's actually going to take to get that fixed.
And I mean, most new player complaints are UI complaints, just in general. So I'm hoping that the UI will get saddled up.
Yeah, the tutorial as well is also high on the list, and I'm going to be collecting feedback from players, seeing what new players struggle with, trying to make the game have a higher retention rate.
If only you had a community ambassador who already did all that research for Nick and has it available for you as soon as you ask him.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be very lovely.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it for you, Grief? You want to jump into the episode?
Nah, I do have a few questions more. Sorry, my dude.
Okay, go ahead.
I actually came up with one too. So.
So then, empty. Just go for.
Okay, this should be pretty simple. So in the between time between the next season pass, voting tickets. Is there any idea how to implement those so people don't have to spam games forever in order to vote on all the cards?
Voting tickets. Yeah, I was considering an idea of maybe making voting tickets cost gold.
Yes.
Same as
that would
just
be
like,
great, actually.
Just like mass purchase 100 gold, 100 voting tickets or something, like 500 gold, not too much. But like I said, we're looking into more ways, we're looking into more ways that you can actually spend your gold in the game, because currently players are hitting numbers of 100,000, 100,000 gold and nothing to spend it on.
I think I'm at 12.5k. 1205k. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty damn good to hear. The thing is that I wanted to know, personally, how are you going forward with queues, considering that the queue system slash elo system is pretty botched, and is there any possibility to add queues like legacy or
the garbage queue? Is the garbage queue coming to collective?
So
custom cards.
When I originally started playing this game, the multi-queue seemed like a really cool feature, and I haven't seen that on basically any other card game. And that's something that interests me. And so I will be looking to bringing that back.
But
Again,
the only other format we had for multi-queue was Astro Gauntlet. Are we thinking?
yes, looking into Legacy League and all that, different formats, possibly. The biggest problem right now is
Developer.
developer, and so that's looking like it's going to be far off into the future plans. I'm sorry, guys, but
No. You already made my day, so yeah.
there, and also, you brought up Q. I want to say I'll be kind of looking into reworking the queuing system just a little bit, because currently the queuing system of you immediately queue into someone else when you queue up. I don't really see it working with bigger games per se, games such as Hearthstone and other things. They have a little bit of a delay, and so there needs to be like an actual matchmaking, like you have this much ranking. And obviously, if there's only like 2 people online, I'll want to relatively quickly matchmake them each other, even if their rankings don't exactly match. But again, that'll also be something when we rework the multi-queue, rework the queuing system for like multi-queue. It'll probably also be upgrading slightly so it gives better matchmaking.
So
Okay.
in that regard, I only have 2/3-ish more questions. Sorry, folks. The next one is, and probably the most important, the subreddit. How will the subreddit be handled moving forward in regards to card submissions, updates, and overall voting?
So the biggest problem with this is, again, we're going to need an actual developer. And a lot of the stuff that I'm mentioning right now is going to require a developer, which we're probably not going to get for a
Couple
while. I really can't name a timeline because
But it's on your radar.
yeah, it's definitely planned for. And once we get one, again, I'll be talking with the staff team about, okay, which things do we target first? Because we can't fix everything at once, but which things do you think would make the players most happy and stuff like that?
Okay.
And so you want to know their subreddit. So that does seem I would like to move it all just to in-game and not have to use Reddit. Change the voting a little, how it works, just because there was a thing like Possum Mama. That was something that surprised, I think, a lot of people, or at least it surprised me, when this random card that a lot of people seem to have controversy about, it got over 100 votes simply because it was on the community who they probably didn't know like what voting does in this Reddit. Like they're probably just, oh, cool card, cool ideal, vote it in. But anyway, so stuff like that. It's a little bit scary to see stuff like that happen, where potentially unbalanced cards can get in the game that way.
So vote brigading will be.
Yeah, so hopefully in the future we can move it all into the game client itself. And so that people, I've heard certain people don't have access to Reddit. And so that'll help with that as well. Get the whole community a little more involved, all the updates in game, try and move everything in game. But it's seeming like I'm talking about an even bigger and more wild ideal than the last one, which is probably going to take more work. Since voting is such an integral part of the game, it'll probably take a quite a bit of time before we can actually rework a system to something that's functional.
This basically leads into my second question. How can basically the system be a little bit alleviated or supported with a Steam page and quote unquote a Steam workshop? Because we are still on Steam, the discussion section is pretty much overlooked for the most part. And it's good that we finally get updates on there and marbles are still DLC.
Yeah.
But will the Steam presence overall be well touched upon, or can voting or stuff like that be also put on there?
I haven't looked too much into Steam as an alternative. Seeing as well, moving in terms of moving voting to Steam, that again probably can't happen until we have a developer, because currently the whole system with pulling cards from Reddit, pulling the votes from in-game, currently that's all automated. And if we were to move it to Steam, we would need to somehow have the automation be changed to such. And currently we don't have a developer to support all that.
So, well, my last question, basically marketing. What's your marketing ploy slash advertisement moving forward? Considering that, yeah, we now have a new new manager. How do we get this comatose patient who has been lying there since 1964 at least partially wake up and up to date, considering that we're now in 2021?
So my main marketing strategy is upgrading things such as the Steam page, and maybe just hopefully there will be word of mouth. I'm not going to expect the community to actually do that. That's
So you're gonna focus on investing in the game first, and then let the investment in the game kind of help build enthusiasm for other marketing efforts.
And I've already started updating the Steam page. I know this is minor, but I changed some of the tags on Steam. I plan on reworking the trailer and screenshots that are on the Steam page. So I'm gonna start working on the Steam page, getting that all updated. So what the more traffic comes in through Steam,
that they'll be seeing up-to-date information.
Yeah, they'll be seeing up-to-date information, and they can see maybe newer and cleaner graphics or other various things. And my main way of doing this, and I'm probably gonna need to ask a lot from the community, but with the trailer, I'm not gonna have time to make trailers. I'm not gonna have a lot of time or for myself, because I'm trying to manage a game now. I'm not gonna have time to set up the trailers and all that. So at some point, maybe in a week or something, I'm gonna set up a competition of sorts. Just basically people can submit trailers or such. It's not up yet. I still need to work out details. This is just a rough draft, but maybe stuff like that. If you get good screenshots, if you make a good trailer, I'll pay you something like $10-$20 per
that
thing.
can be worked out when they actually
come it's all gonna be worked out. Just random numbers. Don't read too much into it. It's not
don't
not
say
all
numbers
the
out
fun.
loud on the video.
Yeah, it's just random numbers. But yeah, that's I'm gonna get that all updated. Hopefully people will be interested. I'm hoping you guys are gonna help me out through this, because I can't do this alone. I don't have the resources to completely overhaul the game by myself.
Yeah.
No problem. You're already more communicative than Audio Studios ever was in the last 3 years. So yeah. we would probably help you.
Okay. Grief, are you satisfied?
No, but we can move on.
Okay. If you have any other questions, feel free to message Mystic in the Discord. I'm guessing you're gonna like be promoted to a higher role or something like that now. So
yeah, I was just holding off until the admin role until we get this all
so
analysis
he'll have a
stuff.
special flag and you can go talk to him. Let's actually do the show now. We haven't done a show in so long. Like I said, we have a limited selection of picks. They're all from the upcoming week of cards. Starting with Mindtwain Blade as a 4-drop mind equipment from nowhere in particular. With fast and giving unit +3/+3, draw 2 cards. Mind equipment, mind equipment, mind equipment. Grief, go.
I always liked that art. I was there when it was created. By the way, the card is decent, but a little bit overcosted, but decent.
Well, it's overcosted because it's in Mind, which normally doesn't have access to these kind of things. So,
I mean, a 4-cost equipment, Mindtwain Blade, a fast, give a unit +3/+3 and draw 2 cards is pretty good, considering that you can somehow chain it into specific interactions. The problem is those interactions usually are in red or in green. We have a few equipment matters cards in blue, but they have rotated out.
yeah.
So overall, this will just help you basically in your yoink decks, quote unquote, considering that, oh yeah, now you have a little bit more of card draw because this is basically Shuriken Harpoon on Ecstasy. Probably, the thing is though, do you want to play 4 cost in Mind, do nothing, but hope to attack, and then draw cards?
Yeah, Mystic Manager, what do you think of this one?
When I first saw this, I freaked out because Meticulous Research is at 3 mana and it draws you 2 cards. Think about more. Drawing cards is a lot worse than we initially anticipated. Or
well, there's just so many ways to do it. Yeah.
Anticipated. Yeah. And so this was probably fine, probably balanced. It's just a decent card. It probably still won't see play in Mine just because Mine is action spam. A lot of their control decks are just, I have actions, I play stuff from hand, and I burn you for 1000.
Yeah. But being able to access the fast and the draw might, I mean, if you are a unit-based deck, this does maybe give you a little bit of HP where you need it, and then it can also get, fuel you a little bit. So I wouldn't see it totally ridiculous that it might be running those. Empty, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the numbers on this card are very good for the cost. Like getting 2 cards in +3/+3 for 4 mana is a good deal. It's just in an affinity where it doesn't really have any extra synergy. If it was in Spirit or Strength, obviously, there's all the equipment synergy, and it's not really worth running off affinity. So, I mean, it's just a decent card. I don't think there's too much else to say about it.
Okay.
Since Mystic might have to go, do you want to do his picks?
Let's Mystic might have to go in the middle of this, so we're actually going to jump over to his picks. That's not his special manager privileges. That's just he overbooked himself for the day.
Did I hear streamer queue?
The Ruin Elemental is an 8-drop strength 3/6 elemental golem robot from Seal of Elementary. With summon, create a Shielding Fist, and when this would be played, create Punching Fist. Oh, so it's on either side of the card. That's cute. The Shielding Fist has Charm, or when duels or dueled, gain Ward, and in Tomb, it merges with the Elemental. So it's a 3/5. Punching Fist as Duelist and Entomb merge with Ruin Elemental. So this is such an interesting package. It's a robot. It puts itself together from Seal. So I guess we're seeing more interesting stuff out of Seal. And of course, 2 of our player created keywords. So this is a really interesting package. Mystic, what do you think about it?
I think it looks really fun to play with. My main concern with this is it's kind of the main body. The entombs don't really matter because your opponent is, of course, removing the main body almost immediately.
Yeah.
And so that's not really going to have enough time for you to get value out of the entombs. It looks like a really fun design. I will definitely play this if it gets in for at least a little bit, so I can enjoy it. I would recommend giving the main body something. Maybe you can cut off a tiny bit of the second word for creating punching fist, so you can fit in something like ward or regeneration or just something.
I like the fact that it's kind of a puzzle, because like for me, I'm seeing this as like self-sack. If I can maybe be running just an offhand founder statue or something, sack the fist into this, and then it closes in its fist, the fist merges, and then it has access to that like recurring ward, in fact, and it's got that huge HP stat line. I think this is good as a sort of a puzzle where you have to like say, how am I going to run this?
That's true. It is looking very interesting. I would love to see what kind of designs can be done with this. And then, of course, after they merge, they come back into play. Or
yeah.
Does merge still come back into play?
I think it comes back into the zone it's from now. I think they
yeah. So I suppose these would actually be merging from the graveyard, so they wouldn't come back into play, which actually makes me a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Knowing that this seems a little bit weaker.
That's still pretty. I mean, what is it? It's got like 21 HP after the full merge.
I really love this. I'm not sure how good it is, but
yeah,
if it can actually be good, or at least fun, at least somewhat good, see some cool combos with it. This card looks very interesting. I would love to see it.
Graves, what do you think of this?
Interesting. Let's call it interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, if everything works out for you, this is a 11-14 with merge shenanigans. It basically has to do with the fact that I don't really know how to evaluate charm.
11.
Because the biggest strength defensively of that card relies on charm.
Yeah.
And since I don't really know how to evaluate that part, for me this is a big merge Fiesta unit, which is quirky. Viability remains to be seen. Considering that, okay, the best part about it for now is the punching fist, because it's a 5/3 removal.
Yeah. And then it goes and it joins the thing and gives it the ability to punch other stuff.
Yeah. It's still an 8-drop though.
Yeah.
So that's basically all that you can know from me in this case. The only thing that irritates me is the bleeding in the text.
Yeah, it's super cute flavor-wise. It's very weird and multifaceted, and I really like that about this design. Empty, what do you think?
Seal of Elementary strikes again. Long name. Just causes problems.
Let's call it SOE, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, so this is like one of those like late game dueling engines, basically. But quite honestly, like this is the way to do it, because it makes something that like generally isn't all that interesting like really fun and unique. I mean, I like the design. I'm just like, our finishers have gotten so much stronger recently. I'm not sure if this will be able to compete with them.
Yeah,
which sucks, because I wish this was the type of finisher that would like see a bunch of play, but I don't know if it will.
Yeah.
Well, with Astral Gauntlet, maybe, or the draft mode, maybe.
Yeah, this is like a Sentinel's top end. Something like that.
Let's call it Sentinel's Shaft, because there's no draft shaft.
Okay. The Shapeshift Dream Team is a 3-drop neutral invasion from Chromosome with Shapeshift and draw a unit without the Shapeshifted tribe. It's a Shapeshifter with Shapeshift permanently. I absolutely love this. It is a Chromosome referencing my realm in a very, very cute way. It's got the flavor. It references the invasion subtype. And so I just love this because it seems like a little bit of an homage to me, and I'm a narcissist. Grief, what do you think of this?
It's a soft tutor.
Mm-hmm.
I like tutors. I like this card.
Yeah, and I like how it slots into a weird spot because like you can actually run this pretty competently in a tribal deck to fill in for your other units that don't have your main tribe, and also make sure to give them your main tribe in the process. So this can actually have a lot of interesting utility with that. However, it's interesting how the one this probably doesn't work with too well is like if you're running any of the other shapeshifters, any of the Growlix who don't have shapeshift, because they were created before it, this actually will dig them up, and a lot of them are probably not the thing you're tutoring for, except maybe Wanda Walsh. I don't know. Empty, what do you think?
Oh, I love this card. I mean, it's a tutor, like Grief said, but it really lets you have a lot more versatility when thinking about how you're building your tribal decks, because you can play any unit as if it's one of the units of your tribes. You just have to pay this 3-mana premium, and you basically get to run 6 copies of it.
Yeah, it's a little steep, but it is a whole soft tutor, so.
Yes.
I think it's about balance cost-wise. Mystic, what do you think?
Well, the main reason I picked this design because, like, not like just like a week ago, I was thinking, oh, what kind of combos can I do in my Baldwin deck? Because you can merge units together. And I was like, oh, I could do this. No, they're different tribes. But now I can make anything Baldwin tribe. I can merge any 2 units that I choose, and I can create like some kind of super unit with some kind of jank combo with like Dire Chupacabra plus Celebrate of Death or something. Those are all already undead, but that's besides the point. Other stuff, make other stuff undead, do some other crazy shenanigans. I'm just curious what kind of combos you can do with it. I don't remember the exact combo I was thinking of at the time, but
yeah, and to contrast like Formless Fruit, which is you have to be more proactive with Formless Fruit because you have to have the extra mana to play the fruit and then play the thing. This one can get things out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, this not only tutors your combo, it also sets it up.
Yeah. So this is more of a combo card version of the whole Formless Fruit thing. So I really like it. It includes a lot of elements I really love, and I absolutely love the homage to Carthian. It's so cute. Continuity error though, this wisp should have 4 eyes. Bakubarang is a 4-drop mind event from Hallucinagetica. Permanently swap the health of units in play with their cost -2. So this is a lovely. It is so interesting to see Puapka doing this art. I feel like I got to talk about that for just a second, because we're seeing. I can see Puapka's color, but it's just missing all those other elements of like Puapka's like drawing a subject. So seeing Puapka draw an abstract, absolutely beautiful. I really, really enjoy this thing, and it is still very Puapka in the color selection, which I thought was really funny. Empty, what do you think of this?
Great art, great card design. It's the wrong time for it. Mine already has a bunch of board clears. It really doesn't need another one. I think this would push it over the top.
Yeah, and it only board clears like small units though. Like this is it's weird effect wise. So you think even with that caveat, well, I mean, so it's an anti-aggro tool.
Yeah. I think it's just like mine already has a lot of good anti-aggro tools. And I think like adding more is going to push it over the edge.
Oh, wow. I just realized this is a swap.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could do anything with giving the, like, okay, so you can switch the HP with the cost. You might be able to make the cost of certain things lower. That could be fun. Can't think of anything off the top of my head. It's been a while, guys. I'm rusty. Mystic, what do you think of this? Oh, Greek, you go. If you got something.
The thing is, though, why swap the cost? Because the cards already are in play.
Well, yeah, but I could lesser raise or something, right? Or if it, or no, because its HP is gonna have that, is probably gonna be like negative something. But I feel like there's got to be something fun you can do with getting it to a really low HP, but it had a high cost before. Doing the switch, and now it's a high HP unit, and then it dies, and then I can bring it back.
I can think of one combo legacy. So if you remember, Glorp is a 4/4 unit. You play this, you first of all, you just killed your opponent's entire board, so they just milled for like 30 cards. Then Glorp has some health, decent unit, whatever. You want to die. It's out 4 mana. You now play Deepborn Call. It's out 4 mana. You can play it again. And now you have a permanent replay Glorp with Deepborn Call or any other bounce effects that you might have.
Of course, you already got to be able to play your Glorp, which is a thing in itself, but that's doable.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I actually agree with Empty here. I think mine has enough board wipes as it is.
No.
I think the card's pretty cool. The one affinity I don't mind an overabundance of board wipes in is Spirit. So if it's going to go in now,
this would fit more of a Spirit thing too, because the it's reminiscent of like retro version.
Yeah, I would almost argue that fits better in Spirit, but Wapka really wants it in mind for bounce shenanigans and everything like that with Tractor Beam and stuff. And so I agree with Empty that wait until rotation.
Yeah. The Torch Drummer is a 1-drop strength 2/2 Goetian Bard from Gemmel. With end of turn, if this is in your deck, banish this and shovel in a Goat Gorger. Goat Gorger. It is misspelled on one of those two things because it's spelled differently. Goat Gorger has summon, scour 10, and if this is banished from your deck, shuffle 10 char into your deck. That is really weird. Oh boy. This is taking me a minute to process. I'm gonna let Grief go first on this one since he picked it.
This would not be submitted for your approval if none of my picks were meant to shit on card design. And I have 2 picks this day.
Really? I looked at your other picks. You weren't there to talk about that pick? Never mind. Okay. We'll get there when you see it, guys.
The thing is, Torch Drummer sounds cool on paper, but at the end of the day, you never play Torch Drummer. You're playing a 10/10 fish for 10. Because Torch Drummer, how it's worded, if you're not having it in your starting hand at end of turn post mulligan, you will replace all your 3 Torch Drummers for the 10/10, which you now have to sculpt your deck for, because you need to at least get one of these dudes off to get chars in your deck, to then use one of them for the to use one of them for the banish effect. Okay, now you have 20. Now we have 10 chars, which are basically only useful for other cards, because you will never try to play the 10/10 in an aggro char or go-go burn, how I usually, or GG burn, how actually you call it with Goetian Gamble. But overall, why is this a 1 cost 2/2? Sure, it's basically only for the corner case where you have this in your starting hand.
Yeah, it's
but
like
outside of that.
Yeah.
So why not skip the middleman?
Well, why have Torch Drummer be a card at all, right? And I guess it gives you something so that Goat Gorger is not a horrible, like it doesn't block your drop, but you could still top deck this after it's shuffled in.
Actually explain Cornmill's thinking behind this.
Flavor-wise, it makes a lot of sense.
Originally, you have to get the backstory. So originally, Corn posted this in the Gmail Discord channel. And originally, Go at Gorger was just the card. And what I've read is shuffle something like 4 chars in the top 10 cards of your deck and scour 4. So what you could do is you put in Mirror Match, and suddenly your opponent's missing like 12 health at the start of the game. So now you're playing your opponent's deck, but they're missing 12 health, and you just scoured your deck, sculpted it the way you wanted it to. And do chars still draw? I thought they updated that. Because if they do, then you also just drew like half your deck. You have a full hand and your opponent's at half health. So as it is now, I don't see a reason for this. You put in Mirror Match, and suddenly you just put a bunch of bad cards into your deck.
Oh, I get it now. Okay, because you can actually...
Yeah, there's Mirror Match, Starve Game, Fusion Project, etc., etc. But as I was saying, you put in now, you shuffle a bunch of chars into your deck. Chars aren't that good of a card by themselves. Like, if they were a common, arguably not that good of a card. And if that's all you have in your deck and you're playing Mirror Match, they're just not good because you have your opponent's deck, which probably doesn't have any Scour.
Yeah.
So I think this is fine going back to just...
That is super goofy. I love how it almost made Mirror Match a good card and almost restored Where did all my life go?
As a legacy player, I still adhere to the philosophy of Mirror Match was one of the cards that has been a fucking mistake.
That's for another day. Empty, go.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this card either. Like as soon as I haven't really played against the Gemmel deck, but as soon as it reaches a critical mass of Scour effects, this just becomes a ridiculous amount of face damage. Like if you can scour through your deck fairly quickly, the risk of drawing the Goat Gorgers like gets lower and lower as you add more Scour effects. And the potential to just burst your opponent out of nowhere with 10 extra chars in your deck just gets higher and higher. So I'm not really a big fan of the card. And also like the whole end of turn, if this is in your deck thing, it just makes it sort of like weird and awkward.
Well, now that I know the reason for it, I'm glad it's there.
Okay, well, I kind of need to head out.
Okay, Mystic's going to go. Yeah. We'll finish the rest of our picks. We only got a couple more. See you, Mystic. Thank you so much, and check him out on Discord if you got more questions.
I'll see you guys all on Discord, and DM me about things I mentioned before.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Yeah. That Patreon link in particular will be in the video description. Okay. Venomous Gunslinger is a 2-drop Spirit 1/3 Snake gun from Howdier, with Duelist, Toxic, and Deadly to units that have taken toxic damage. I absolutely hate this design. It is a horrible way to introduce the keyword. I've actually already talked to Space about it. Like, I originally picked this, and I'm like, I'm just going to go over to Space and tell him, like, why this is a bad idea. And then someone else picked it for me, so now we have to talk about it. If maybe he had introduced Toxic with A different word, and B, he didn't, like, make it just deadly but worse, that would have been cool. But I don't know, and it's weird because it's not even caring that the unit has toxic, the damage is toxic. It's caring that the unit was damaged by a thing that was toxic. And I feel like maybe there's a little bit of space for this. I'd be interested to maybe see what that space looked like, but as it stands, it doesn't vibe with me. So, Grief, convince me otherwise.
Why should I convince you?
I thought you didn't you pick this one?
I said I basically picked 2 cards where I shit on card design this week.
Oh, I see.
By the way, when did stuff like Howdier happen? I know way back when Goku introduced the realm ideas and so on, I didn't like it because I like Western and the idea of the whole...
The idea was cool, but there's not been a single good execution for it that I've seen.
Okay, yeah, okay. I mean, but the realm exists? Or...
I don't know if it exists.
Okay, now to Venomous Gunslinger. Why is this toxic and not Mark?
Yeah, or it could be Mark.
Yeah, I actually have the answer. Because I asked, or maybe I didn't ask, I saw someone ask Space the same question. And the idea is that there's going to be other cards in the future that care how much toxic damage something has dealt to someone. So like, one of the examples that was brought up is 1 mana, deal 2 damage to your opponent, and it's toxic. And then if they've taken 10 toxic damage, you draw a card.
I mean, okay, let's be honest. From a Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, I like alien counters. From a Magic perspective, I like poison counters. I like other charge counters, bullshit and stuff like that. From a collective perspective, we don't have a way to actually cleanly indicate markers, counters.
Yeah, so the indicator is just one problem though, right? The rest of the problem with it is like this design is it makes absolutely in a vacuum, it's baffling. Outside of a vacuum, it doesn't, there's still better executions. Like, I'm sorry. By the way, I want to say nice things. I'm here, I'm back, the show is back. Space Turtle, I am madly in love with the art on this card. He has a cowboy hat, he has a scarf, he's wearing clothes for some reason. It is absolutely beautiful. And it's Howdier. Like, I'm actually interested in seeing cards from Howdier that really vibe with me. And so the rest of this card is a tragedy. But this is the art. That snake, that goofy looking snake is a flower in this tragedy. Just this bright, brilliant bloom. Okay, now we're going to go back to talking bad about the card. Empty, what do you think of this?
The choice of toxic for the keyword is extremely counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically the last thing I would think it would do. This is just not a good way to introduce the keyword because, like Grief said, it makes you think, oh, why isn't this just marked? That would make a million times more sense. And it would. So maybe choose one of those other designs that like convey it better. And of course there's like the whole UI issue. I don't know. I just don't think this is a keyword that's going to work out.
Is he going to shoot a snake?
Basically, to reiterate on how to fix that card. A, make deadly to marked units. B, when this deals damage to a unit,
destroy it if it's marked, otherwise mark it.
No, otherwise mark it, exactly. Duelist. Done. Perfect. Now you have established mark synergies with other marking cards. You can build upon a mechanic that way more makes sense with gunslingers as a whole, because, oh yeah, hitting a freaking marked target makes sense. Even bounty hunting and bullshit. And toxic? Let's forget about that idea first and think about how to execute an on-damage marking / indicating ability moving forward. Especially when it comes to something that is by vocabulary already associated with stuff like poison, stuff
deadly,
and deadly, exactly. Why
like if this is supposed to represent poison, it's a worse poison than all the other poisonous things in the game.
And I even thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Venom counters were bad because they are bad.
But yeah, okay, so if you are looking to expand on this toxic thing, start off with something different.
Exactly.
If you are looking to create this cute Venomous Gunslinger thing from Howdier, just use Mark. But if you're really dedicated to this toxic thing, I think it might be doable, but I would want to see 3 designs that actually made sense for this, rather than just being deadly with extra steps. Love the art, though.
It's difficult for a keyword like this because it would work like amazingly if it's officially implemented because you can actually just see the marks on
And
the
miserably
units.
otherwise is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Izra the Cold-Tailed is a 7-drop Mind 2/9 Elemental Cat God from Seal of Elementary. Sevas has been liking on that one. Charm. Exhausted ally units have ward, regenerate +2 HP, and when they damage enemy units, those lose 2 attack. And active 2 deal 2 damage. This is so weird. I feel, I mean, it's cool. I like the idea that it's a little bit of like exhaust synergy and forces you to maybe think about other ways to go ahead and like attack with stuff, and it's really interesting. It's hard to unpack though. I think it might have a little bit too much on the card, like looking at the when they damage enemy units, those lose 2 attack. I guess that makes sense with its active, but you have to put in other actives where that makes sense. Or I don't know. It's hard to unpack. Empty, what do you think of this?
Seal of Elementary strikes again. But yeah, so this is a really weird
it's
card.
Not, by the way, Seal of Elementary's name. It's that they're a realm full of elementals, and elementals is a long word as well.
It's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Working in tandem. But yeah, I agree with you. This is a very weird card. I think the current version is very weak. The thing is, you're paying 7 mana for this, and it's giving you a really like counterintuitive reward. Basically, it's rewarding your attackers by giving them health and ward, which if you're running an aggressive deck, one, you don't want to be spending 7 mana to give your attackers extra health. And you also don't really want to be like weakening your enemy units' attack that much. That's not really, I mean, I guess you could do it, but it's not worth 7 mana. And then like the whole charm on this thing, like you're basically never going to duel this unless you have something that has deadly, in which case you just spent 7 mana on basically nothing.
Yeah, so what this is maybe good in is a deck with a bunch of heavy duelists, but you know who doesn't have duelist in its repertoire? Mind. Like with duelists, being able to do that out of combat would maybe make sense.
Please read the effect of charm.
That other units can duel Izra.
Yes, meaning your own.
I'm not gonna Sam the Ram this thing.
Wait a second. Now read again what Izra does. And think of it not from an aggressive, but from a defensive point of view.
Okay.
This card puts when played, gives itself 2 HP, regenerate, and ward. So it first of all sticks.
Yeah.
Second, you can dual places into this. You can dual active units into this because they refresh ward. You can active units because it doesn't need them to duel itself. But whenever you activate an active ability, they gain ward, regenerate, and 2 HP.
But it's not permanent though.
Yeah.
It goes away as soon as the turn starts.
As soon as turn starts. But this is basically an on-demand. Oh yeah, now I have a protective layer on my key pieces.
Yeah.
This is a late game control setup, which is board based, which normally is actually, funny enough, Spirit's thing.
Yeah.
This gives the playstyle of actives matters again an extra tool to work with. Another card that actually, funny enough, works with it on a point of view from an aggressive point of view would be stuff like Midnight Dreamwalker or Sleepwalker, which attacks when it's actually exhausted. and gets
Yeah,
unblockable.
this is great with Midnight. See, I guess it's not, my problem isn't the card itself. The problem is, like you said, Spirit is the one that has all the duelists. Active Synergy isn't really here at the moment. And then I
didn't say that Spirit has all the duelists. I said
I
both
said
controlled unit was Spirit's thing. But Active's matter was always more in mind, and the dueling aspect was Spirit and Strength. So it works with that. So it has the capabilities of actually making these duelists pretty much gel together with them. On the other hand, this is a good card to actually splash.
Yeah, I can see it possibly splashed. And even with a little bit of exhaust synergy, this could really go off. Like arcane scriptures, being able to fog things. I guess running it with maybe with splashing with Grave Rave, that could be really cool. And that could really lock down the board something awful. Because it just by giving you exhausted units out ward, right?
So the question at the end of the day is more like, how much is utility worth for you? Because this is a 7 mana unit that, let's be honest, in most cases could actually cost like 6.
Yeah.
Or even 5 if you actually dump a little bit of the HP value.
Yeah, the HP is kind of out way, like, it dumped way too many points on that, I think.
The thing is, it's more or less you trying to be the players will try to get rid of it with multiple duelist interactions the moment your defensive layers actually start working.
Yeah.
This takes into account that you actually duel your defensive layers that you own into this. That's why it has such a high HP pool. If we skip that part due to the fact that it can activate a regenerate effect on its own, so it gets that plus 2 HP due to the deal 2 damage. And every other of your active units, be it duelists or not, can actually benefit from that too. Then your opponent will probably jump on the wagon. Oh shit, I need to get rid of this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, do you pay 7 mana for a quote-unquote do nothing with setup needed or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, now that I know, I didn't realize Ward worked on your own unit, Scrape. That was interesting to think about. I still just think it's a bit too slow and like a bit janky.
Yeah, I think if anything, it could go. It needs to show up sooner. And
yeah, especially with
really
like, I mean, the ward is very slow to set up.
Yeah.
And it disappears at the start of every turn. So every time your opponent has on initiative, your barrier is just gone at the start of the turn.
Yeah. And I guess the problem with this thing showing up at like 5 is like maybe it could possibly end up warding like a king loop type scenario. Because if you're just playing every single unit that's relevant to the thing, then you've effectively warded all your units. That could be an interesting application of this, is just having this thing guard your combo. But time will tell.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, it would be basically a force field generator, but different.
Yeah, like a good force field generator, but I think it needs to come down sooner and have lower HP. Some of the other decisions, I guess they make sense. They're really quirky. But I'll buy them. That I think is the biggest issue, is how slow it is. Practical Experience is a 3-drop mind gimmick from Chromosome. Turn your EXP from this level into EXP Wisps in play. Shapeshift, banish this in graveyard, so I'm guessing it just never hits the graveyard. And Entomb, gain 1 EXP. From KingKuba. This is so goofy. The action type is goofy. I automatically so it gives me a bunch of units that are all in my main tribe and sets my EXP for this level into 0. There are definitely heroes who don't care too much about their level rewards and are also running tribal. So this is cool. This is also weird. Very, very, very weird. I could see potential interesting, maybe, I guess you'd be running it off Affinity, but with Mortar Mockery, having a bunch of oozes and then just
grabbing multiple copies of that Entomb. You can use it as a slow EXP doubler. It's just quirky overall. Empty, why'd you pick this?
Because it's really interesting.
I
really like the idea of using your XP as a resource for cards, especially like the meta is a lot faster, and a lot of heroes, like once you hit level 2, you just don't even care about XP anymore. So turning it into a bunch of units is great. Like for Ashe, especially when you're getting up into the like level 3s and you're going for that terrible ult she has, turning all your XP into wisps is awesome. You would love to do that.
Or turning them into Theowin, which is really in practice or Theowin or whatever, depending on what your deck is.
Yeah, I just think it's a very cool card, and I'd like to see more designs that play with XP in this sort of way.
This Action Tribe is super goofy. I wish I knew like what it was. This could be Invasion, the way I've defined Invasion for Carthian. But I'm not gonna question it too much. I just thought it was
sort of a gimmicky card. So
it is a gimmicky card. Let's go back and label all the gimmicky cards for what they are. Call them out, man. And then we get the gimmick synergy card. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Grief, what do you think of this?
So you're saying that this is non-native, I still hate that name, non-native support, and you didn't recognize it as such?
Non-native, I was focusing in on the tribal support, but it's also non-native tribal support.
I mean,
which is fun.
You put down the bell, you play this, you have a board that basically says, "Oh yeah, we're basically discounts. We're basically discount Imperials from Ashe. We can basically be played in Lazaro, and yeah, if we die, we don't really care. We take out the unit and we give back XP."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually kind of funny, quirky. I like it. It's different. Birds could actually benefit from it, and even Bullock the moment he actually hits level 2 and level 3. So his attack boost is already online. And everything afterwards is like, yeah. If I get to level 4, I win the game.
These are monkeys. Like, you monkey around with really an agitator. You can be getting your debris all in your hand. You could slap down a recruiter, maybe throw in a couple harmonizers. This could really work in monkey around if it becomes a deck. I hope it does.
Also, the fact that they don't remain in your graveyard helps out Bullock, and fun enough, even Marie. But Marie actually cares about actually hitting her active.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Marie, I think the issue with Marie is, well, first of all, Spirit, second of all, that other thing. I think helps Ashgurdy a lot, depending on if the Monkey Around deck comes around, which I think might end up being a Vrick deck based around how I played around with it. But maybe I'm just a bad player. Also possible.
The thing is, most heroes care at least about the level 3.
Yeah.
Afterwards, XP is quote-unquote irrelevant and can be used for this utilitarian purpose. And the thing is that the moment they actually land in the grave, due to an Entomb, which is important, this can actually get you somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, this is pretty. I really like this. This is a quirky, interesting card, and I'm so glad to see this coming from a new player. I hope that one does well. Sorry if we were a little harsh on cards today, guys. We're going to be getting back into the swing of things as things go on and getting back into it. And because we jumped around a little bit, I believe, let me double check that we are done with the week. Stop the share. See, Grief, we could have gone for more picks and it would have been fine. It's all Grief's fault. He wanted us to cut down on picks.
We've been basically rambling for what? Nearly 1.5 hours? Like
that's our job, though. That's what we do. We're back in the game, baby.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
So yeah, guys, collective's still a thing, and we're sorry we were gone on hiatus for so long. We thought the game was gonna die, and we intend to stay back here and be with you guys for as long as the game remains active. I'd like to thank Grief and Empty for coming back with me. I hope it's been fun.
Of course.
Yeah.
I love shit talking, and doing it in front of an audience is even better. And I'm not getting paid for it.
So like, comment, and subscribe. Remind me why I'm doing this, and keep on playing collective and keep on voting on cards. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.